Hey guys, what is up? As you can see, I'm stuck in the car. Um, it's raining in Miami. I was gonna go run some errands on the beach, and when I say the beach, I mean South Beach. And I'm here, but it's pouring rain. I wanted to go run into a couple of stores and pick up some things, and I was gonna record on my way to the store outside, sunny. But here we are, stuck in the car because it's raining. So I figured, you know what? Let me just go ahead and record this video now. Anyways, how's everyone doing? Hopefully the sound quality is okay. I should be able to edit this inside Final Cut. But I wanted to hop on here. Well, A, it's been a minute. And B, I actually got a new tip. It's very bold, but I got a new tip of how, when you are in whatever location you're in freestyling, you can reach out to potential guys, sugar daddies, whatever. You can reach out to them and, basically say hello. I don't know how else to put it, but I was actually talking with this guy, and he told me that this happened, but I'm going to share this tip inside Patreon. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's not for the faint of heart. It's for women who are bold, because this is a very bold move. But I'm going to put this inside Patreon, so you can go to Patreon and get the tip. Patreon.com/TSEGP. It's only $1 a month to join, and your support helps me with the show, admin costs, and all that good stuff. But anyways, so catch me inside Patreon, and I will share the tips. Toodaloo!
You are now listening to The Sexy Escort Guide, discussing everything fascinating about the world of paid companionship. And now, here is your sexy host, Exotic Vivian.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 62 of the Sexy Escort Guide podcast. I am your host, Exotic Vivian. Today, we're going to be talking to matchmaker, sugar baby coach, and author of The Sugar Daddy Formula, Miss Taylor B. Jones. Taylor is a self-made sugar baby, and she discovered how to leverage her relationships to build wealth and opportunity. She now helps other women do the same. From Atlanta, Georgia, which she has coined as the sugar baby capital of America, Taylor heads a successful business and online support community that empowers women to find and sustain beneficial relationships. Collectively, her clients have benefited from over $1.5 million via the generosity of their sugar daddies. Hello, Taylor. Welcome to the show.
Hey, I'm so excited to be here. I've been waiting for this.
You
have
and
no
me
idea.
both. You and me both. I've been following you for a while, probably maybe 5 or 6 years now. How long have you been doing this?
Oh, it seems like forever in a day.
It's been a minute. I saw you on the Lisa whatever show. Lisa Lang, Lisa.
It was the Lisa Ling. This is Life with Lisa Ling.
Yeah, that one. And of course, I love how every time the media paints our world, or this world in general, they always have to sensationalize it and like make it this thing, But it was entertaining, to say the least.
Yes.
But yes, Taylor, for those of us who live under a rock and do not know who you are, please tell our listeners a little bit about your background, who you are, how you got to where you are today.
Okay. Well, a lot of people might not know about this about me, but I was a tomboy growing up.
Okay.
And it wasn't until my 12th grade year when I arched my eyebrows, took down my ponytail, and I found out I had some powers over here.
Okay, okay. I mean, but your voice is very, very feminine.
Oh,
So, did you
thank
did
you.
you it's very sensual. Did you always sound like this, or did you like have to practice or something? That seemed like it'd be very hard.
Good. That's a good question. And actually, it's like the tone, I have always sounded like this as far as the tone of what you're hearing is me. But
Okay.
I had to switch it up because when I was a tomboy, I was hanging around the guys. So you kind of develop the guys' characteristics and personality and how you come across.
Yes, you do become who you spend a lot of time with. This is true.
So, but yes, I honed my skills over time.
Oh,
Definitely.
nice. Nice. So you were a tomboy and you realized you had powers over the boys.
I did. But what really led me to this lifestyle, it was when I actually was dating a guy who lied to me about his age. Okay. You would think,
Ooh,
come on, you would know. But this man, if you put
he
him,
didn't look it.
no, he did not. He had a
No.
six pack to die for. Like,
Okay.
put him alongside someone 20, he can give them a run for the money. But
Oh, I know some of those hot daddies, yes.
so it was around his birthday when I was just like, oh, let me see your mugshot on his driver's license. And he really got protective and it kind of startled me a little bit. I'm like, okay, what's going on here? And then he told me that he was old.
It's like, I'm old, babe.
But at this time, I had invested so much time into that particular relationship. So I confided with my girlfriend, and she was like, look, he's enjoying your youth. What is he doing for you? And I'm just like, okay, what do you?
I was about to say, was he already like spoiling you and stuff? If so, who cares?
He was doing the typical like, okay, when we go out, he would pay for things. When I went out with my
Okay.
girl, he covered everybody. And
All
it's
right.
like, I had access to his home, I had access to his cars. So I benefited by being around him, but I wasn't benefiting to have an impact on my life.
Got it.
Okay.
Got it.
So
And how old are you at this point?
at that point, I was 21.
All right, you were a baby.
Oh,
That's fine.
still, babies are so impressionable.
I mean, I'm just saying because we all make mistakes when we're younger. I mean, I've made some dumb mistakes, So it's life. You live and you learn.
That's right. So she basically put me onto the game. So then every time we was going out, when we would go shopping and he would buy me something, I'm like, okay, well, when you're not here, how am I going to go shopping? Then he added me on his account. And then he started.
Nice. So you had to start asking for stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
the thing right there, I had to ask. And I wasn't asking, I was just taking. And I was actually happy when I was taking, but when I asked, it took me to a whole nother level.
Yep. Closed mouths do not get fed.
Not at all.
I love it.
Not at all.
Well, at least you didn't have like a horror story, because a lot of the, sugar baby mentors came from, what they call the pick me people, the pick me days, where they were in terrible relationships and that's how they turned out to be a sugar baby.
Mm-hmm.
So they were in relationships with men that were taking from them.
Ah,
And then they got fed up one day and decided, screw this, I'm going to take from men now. But at least you came from a positive a positive beginning.
yeah,
So that's good.
It was a positive beginning, but it didn't lead that way initially. It's like when that started to transition, I came across Leidra Lawson, and she wrote the book Sugar Daddy 101. And when I read that, I was like, I became literally obsessed with everything sugar daddy. So I found the sites and I'm like going all in, but I didn't know what the heck I was doing. And because I didn't know what the heck I was doing, I started putting myself out there and getting used because I didn't know what I was doing. But
yeah,
I had to take a step back to be like, you know what? It's like I had to take a step back because the way that I was being approached was like, okay, how much are you for an hour? And I'm like, okay, well,
Ah,
this is
like an escort.
exactly like an escort. I was like, okay, well, I didn't set out to have this type of experience. My mentality was like, oh, I can sign up to this sugar daddy dating site, put up a profile. I'm going to have men providing me with everything that I want. But
Ah, the dreams.
the dream it was killed very quickly because nobody told me what I had to do to get it. So I had to take
Got it.
back and understand, why would a man want to provide a woman with anything if it's not about sex? So I went the direction of wanting to understand that and understanding human behavior, influencing, negotiating, all those things. So I actually created my own education, in which that's how I created the Sugar Daddy
School of Hard Knocks. School of Hard Knocks.
program.
I feel like that's the way a lot of people really learn, although it's all easier to just learn from someone else. But somehow we kind of also have to make our own mistakes and find our own paths. That's just life,
It is.
and then of course you pay it forward. At least, some people like you do. Most people just hoard it all to themselves. No, stop giving away free game. Why would you do that?
Right? It's like, look, if I'm talking, pay me.
Right. I mean, yes, there to some extent, but I just feel like there's enough to go around. And, we need to like get out of that struggle mentality of, oh, I'm lacking, so I can't like share with anyone. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the reasons why I like you as well, is that you're actually helping girls, giving them some sort of a blueprint so that way they can do better for themselves.
Absolutely. And it's like, I like what you do because you're putting other people on as well. So kudos to you.
Oh, thanks. Taylor complimented me. I guess I'll sleep like a baby tonight. Okay, so you dove into the world of sugaring, and then you created your own game plan. So how did you go about becoming a sugar coach? Was it like one of your daddies that was like, hey, make this a business? Or did you?
No, actually, I was looking for information, but I wasn't finding the information that could help me. And when I say that, it was like I would come across books, but they were written by models. So I would read something and it's like, I know with the sugar life and then the escorting, like an escort can write something, but I might not can apply it to how I need it.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I had to kind of like create my information based on how I was going about it. And because of that, I started putting my information out there for others. So it started off as like a blog. I didn't dream of like, wake up like, you know what? I want to be a sugar baby coach. I want to help women leverage their relationship and get money. I want to help women do all these things. So it just fell. It's like a domino effect. It just fell that way.
So that means you found your path. You know, when things fall together, not effortlessly. I'm sorry, you put in a lot of work, but you know what I mean. When things fall together and you just find yourself in situations that you thrive in, I feel like that's your calling.
Yes.
But hey, what the hell do I know? I'm not a guru.
We all have our inner gurus.
Right. That's what I believe. So I'm gonna assume that you've never done any other line of sex work, just sugaring.
Okay, well, like, when we say
stripping,
I haven't stripped.
See, that's why I do not like that term. But for some reason, our industry is gung-ho on naming it sex work. Because the first thing people think when they hear sex work is what? Sex.
Exactly. It's like, but some might classify what I do as sex work. And
yes, sugaring is a form of sex work. Stripping, cam girls, porn stars, escorts, like the list goes on. And content producers.
Yep. And I'm like, can't we just all respect each other's game? Because in a way, we're all using our femininity to get what we want. And that is selling sex.
Exactly. But I just feel like this label just puts us in a box where we can't really like, you know what I'm saying? We're kind of like confined to this, sex. That's your game. You're a sex worker. I don't know. I just never liked the term, but hey, that's the industry term. So
yeah. So somebody asking me, are you selling sex? I'd be like, yes, I am. I'm using my femininity to get what I want. And I'm okay with that.
I believe everyone's okay with it. McDonald's is okay with it. All the corporations that use sex to sell, they seem to be fine with it. But it's when you actually exchange the actual word for money, that's when it's a problem. But
Mhm.
that's a story for another day. So you've only been a sugar baby. You've never stripped. You've never been an escort. You've never done anything else.
No, I was an unexpected hooker before. That I went
like Carrie in Sex and the City. Did you see that episode?
Yes. It's like you go out. I'm like, for me, I was glamored by this guy, went out, fine dining. Everything was just like perfect. So I'm just doing things that I would naturally do out with a guy. I just went with the flow. Next thing you know, I'm in his room, and then he's sliding me an envelope. And I'm like, damn.
Oh!
What just happened?
But technically, though, that's a good guy. At least he didn't like just try to use you.
That is true. That is true.
At least he was like, hey, let me give her a little something for her troubles.
So it placed a Band-Aid on my ego because at that moment it's like, damn, what just happened? I didn't even ask for my worth, So I'm like, damn.
Wait a minute. I hope you took the envelope, though.
Oh, yeah, of course I did.
Okay.
Of course I did.
To travel back in time and slap you.
Like that was the money Band-Aid right there.
Yeah.
So, but yes, there were times that I was the unexpected. So, yeah.
I mean, it happens. Mm-hmm. Okay, so what do you think is a misconception about women who capitalize on their relationships with men?
Oh, that we're all gold diggers. And
you know what? I take that as a compliment now, though, by the way.
And I do too, because it's saying to everyone, it's like, look, we know what we want and we're upfront about it. And you should respect that.
Exactly. So. I mean, guys are gold diggers too, but nobody calls them gold diggers. And I don't mean going after women. I mean, just going after money.
Yep.
That's literally what they're born to do is, make money. So they're gold diggers, but nobody ever talks shit about them. Whatever. Anywho, what is one misconception people have about you?
That I help women manipulate men all day.
I mean,
I do.
Don't men? But I was about to say, don't men manipulate women all day too?
Absolutely. But I'm like, manipulation isn't a bad thing. It's a good thing.
It's seduction. That's what I call it.
It is. It's a seduction on a whole nother level.
Yeah, it's a nice dance.
It is.
Oh, geez. So what exactly made you decide to become a sugar baby dating coach?
I love solving problems. I love creating opportunities where they feel there isn't any. And what I mean by that, it's like I had a woman reach out to me where she was like, Taylor, I don't want to use a sugar daddy dating site. I want to find wealthy men. And I'm just like, okay. So I broke down like, okay, what do you have going for yourself? She was in grad school and her background is in finance. I had this girl create a podcast around finance where she only had to interview millionaire men. Okay.
Nice.
Yes.
Talk about levels. Nice.
All right.
Not only is she, kind of creating a resume for herself, but she's also getting to talk to these guys in a less, threatening atmosphere. Everybody's more at ease.
Correct. Because it's like the first thing to getting what you want, someone has to know you exist. And we're really only
again for the people in the back.
Look, for you to get anything, they have to know you exist. And if we really break down everything that we're doing, we're only doing two things here. We're attracting someone who's in a position to provide that very thing that we're wanting. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then the second thing is that we're communicating our needs and wants to have that person see us as worth it to want to provide. Do those two things, you get what you want. In her case, we covered that first one. She's only interviewing millionaire men. Okay. She's going to come across people who are married and all that, but she come across single guys. And now she's talking to them. And they're seeing her on a different level as well.
Different light. They're admiring her. They probably see her even more beautiful than she is because,
absolutely more desirable.
Love it.
Absolutely.
You're smart, Taylor. Maybe I need to schedule a consult.
If you have a conflict and you don't feel as though you can get to that next step or look at a situation and see an opportunity, that's where I come in. It's like
Mine is more strategy. I need more strategy with you know, because I kind of already, you know, have my goals and everything in mind and the way to execute them, but I need a fresh set of eyes. And, you know, we'll talk. We'll
okay,
talk.
we'll talk.
So, what services do you offer your mentees? You know, I see you're like creating stars with podcasts and stuff. What else? What else do you offer?
Oh, what else do I have a program that I help them with through my Fast Track to Sugar. I help them through like a clarity of sugar baby assessment. I also have what I call sugaring done for you. That's right.
Okay.
Sugaring done for you, where we take over your account on your behalf, talk to the guys, help set up the foundations to the relationship, and pass the baton back to her, where I brief her and then make sure I coach her to where she actually sells herself to get it.
Nice. You know? So you're kind of like in the escort world. You would be like the assistant that screens the calls, like and she only passes him over to you once he's past screening.
Like, have you ever seen that movie Alita, or have you heard about it?
Okay. No, I haven't. What is it about?
Okay, well, it's about where you have these machines, and then there's a person that is controlling it. So, for the sake of this, it's like I'm the sugar behind the sugar, engineering her success.
Nice. I love it. I love it. So ladies, you hear that? You better be getting on the phone with Taylor before I take up all her time.
You know, and especially if they don't know the right words to say and convey, that's when I do.
Definitely don't know, because when you're a stripper or an escort, you're so used to a straight up transaction. A guy sees you, he either wants to buy a dance or he wants to buy your time, depending on which world you're in, and you get your money up front. That's it. Transaction done. So they find it very difficult to transfer certain skills into the long-term dating world, or the sugaring world, which is what I like to call it, where these guys know you in real life and they're actually just helping you out. So a lot of girls have a hard time transitioning from sex work to the sugaring world, and they say it's very difficult. That's the number one complaint in the escort world, is that whenever they try to start CV dating is when civilian dating, which means like regular dating, but we call it civilian dating. So whenever they try to CV date, the guys are just all whatever, and they just run back to, you know, escorting or stripping, because that's just what they know, and they're actually making money versus, you know, wasting their time, quote unquote, with these guys, and they just don't know how to navigate that world. So I'm sure a lot of our listeners will definitely be calling you, getting your book, all that good stuff. But describe your ideal client to coach.
Well, she definitely has to be a self-starter. And this is the next thing that's really hard to do, and which you just touched on, with having the right mindset to make this work, because she has to be willing to put her wants aside to be able to see another person for what they need. And that's hard to do when you're only thinking about what you can get.
Exactly. We're human. We're all selfish. It's just human nature. So for you to actually put your wants aside, I love the way you put it. I would not have put it that way. Yeah. That's beautiful. You put your wants aside so you can figure out what this person wants, so you can give it to them and you can get what you want.
Yes. And she has to be willing to be trained, and definitely never give up, because I'm like, when someone works with me, I don't allow emotions to cloud my judgment. So I take emotions and feelings out of it so I can focus on the objective. So she has to never give up, because I'm like, okay, if we can't move to the right, we can move to the left. We can jump up. We can go around. We can dig a hole. You know, as long as we're focused on our objective, we're going to find a way to make it work.
Exactly. So you have to have your goal in mind, and then that way you can keep coming up with different strategies until something works, so to speak.
Absolutely.
Okay. I love it. But I love that you don't give up either, because people like things to be easy these days, because, you know, everything's on our phone. You can literally be in your house and DoorDash food to you. You don't even have to leave your house for anything. So I feel like now people want a DoorDash sugar daddy. Are you providing that service, Taylor? when are you gonna come up with that in your
Hey,
business?
I actually do introductions. So if it's a lazy sugar baby out there, she can just drop her profile with me. And if I come across a
Ooh,
guy who I do the matchmaking
well,
for, then I'll make
well,
an
shoot.
introduction.
I need an introduction. Damn. Okay, we're
Look,
definitely
we
gonna
gonna
be
talk.
talking. We're definitely gonna be
We gonna
talking.
talk.
Okay, so your book. Let's talk about it. The
Okay.
Sugar Daddy Formula. Please tell us about this book.
Okay. The Sugar Daddy Formula is a guide to help you navigate this lifestyle based on you. I help you break it down, but I understand your mindset on the reason why you're coming to this lifestyle. Okay. Because just you wanting something, it's going to be short lived because you're going to give up because you're not going to get
Exactly.
out of bed and keep pushing through. So really, you really have to have a good mindset and understand it. And also when we identify that, then we can start tapping into the right approaches on targeting our ideal relationships and how to find the right environment, whether it's online, whether you're networking, whether you're freestyling, because you have to know how to work the environment to make it work for you. And also I
Exactly.
break down like profile writing and biggest mistakes that people make within this lifestyle and how to handle rejection. Rejection is the hardest thing.
Oh, girl. I always
Definitely.
say if you want a crash course and all of this, go strip for like a month.
You said, okay, I want to hear more about that. Go strip for about a month and then what?
Go strip for a month because that's gonna help you with like for the girls that are scared to approach guys. But although I don't encourage you like walking up on a dude or whatever, but it helps with your confidence because you're not gonna make any money if you think you're just gonna prance around on the pole and that's it. Like you make your money when you actually talk to a guy and get him to take you to VIP as a stripper. So
Okay.
yeah, and that doesn't happen just based on how you look. And I even talked about this on my last podcast episode that there was this one girl in my club and she was shaped like an amoeba. You know what an amoeba is, right? In biology.
Yes.
Yeah. She was not the hottest looking thing. She had like blue eyes, blonde hair, blue eyes, but that was it. Like nothing else was attractive about this girl. But this girl stayed making bank. So one day I decided to kind of shadow her because I was new then to kind of see what she was doing. And it was literally just the way she talked to the guys and how she made them feel. And within like half an hour to an hour, they were already in the back and they end up keeping her all night or a few hours. And that's how you make your money in the club. You don't make your money through dancing on stage with ones. You make the big money with the guys that take you VIP. And if you want like a crash course on rejection, because you're going to talk to guys that don't want you, and confidence, go strip for like a month.
Ooh, I love it. I love the fact that I love the fact that you shadowed her because with what she was doing, she found her niche. And a lot of times people don't know how to find their niche to make it work for them. They're constantly thinking like, oh, I don't have this certain look. I don't have this type of stuff. I don't have these clothes. I don't have this. It's like when you find your niche, you know how to make it work for you.
Yeah. I mean, but in girls' defense, society is feeding us all day that there's only one kind of, beauty and all that good stuff. And after a while, people start to believe that. Like, I think for a while there was a running joke on Twitter where if you Googled the most beautiful woman in the world, look up the images and see what pops up. It's not regular girls. And definitely no black girls on there either. So a lot of girls, especially my black listeners, start to think, oh, well, I'm black, so I clearly can't do it. And I'm just like, well, I'm black too.
Yeah, me too. I'm a woman of color over here.
Yeah. So that excuse is out. Then they go with the weight thing. Well, there are plenty of guys that like bigger women. So like, you just have to figure out what works for you. And then even with the girl that I quote unquote shadow, I didn't really shadow her. You can't do that in stripping. Okay. But they would not be too keen on you following them with their clients. No, but I watched her is what I'm saying, closely. And then I made friends with her and she would like bring me in VIP with her sometimes. And eventually I figured out my, game or whatever. And it was great. But yeah. Anyways, I digress. So one of the things I like most about you is that you encourage your mentees to use their money to make them more money, which is something I try to emphasize on this show. Can you tell us a couple of examples of how your mentees have invested their money?
Okay. The key thing is taking others people's money and making money to make more money from it, in which it's like you have to change your relationship with money. Okay. And it's like, to make money, it's like you're going to do it in a couple of ways. Either you're going to invest in like the stock, or you're going to invest in real estate, or you're going to invest in yourself and have a business of some sort.
Yep.
So there's only a certain amount of ways that you can make money. But ideally, you want to find what feels right to you when it comes to like investing, because a lot of people don't want to just have their own business. So there are other ways.
It's a lot of work. Nobody wants to work.
So it's like, when you find something that interests you, just read up on it a little bit to see if that's something that you want to go all in with, whether it's stocks. So I always encourage my girls to learn and change their relationship with money. Okay. It's like when I had one of my recent episodes on the podcast, it was maximizing your sugar daddy's generosity.
Yeah, I just listened to that one, and the girl was saying how the guys were gifting her bags and shoes, but then in 2 years she had nothing to show for her sugaring, and that was when she called you, and sure enough, you set her on the right path.
So it was like she was taking his money and investing into Airbnbs, having him
That
pay.
was so smart. That was very smart. Yeah, so it's basically free money, because most people would have to go to a bank and get a loan.
Right.
And pay interest, which that's also a way to do it too, because there are many multimillionaires out here that have used the bank as their leverage to start businesses and, buy real estate, and now they're super successful. However, we're girls. We don't want to go the hard way. So use your daddy's money
to make you money.
Rich kids do it all the time.
Absolutely. They do. They do.
Literally use their parents' money to make more money. And I loved it. So I was like, yeah, we definitely have to touch on that a little bit. So ladies, invest your money.
Definitely.
Okay. So now I'm going to move on, because I had posted on Twitter that you were coming on the show, and if the ladies had any questions to ask you. So I'm going to move on to the questions from our listeners.
All right, let's get it.
Let's do it. Okay, so one of our followers asked, what are some good places to find benefactors, aka sugar daddies? This is a question that gets asked all the time, I'm sure.
It does, but we have to look at it differently, because I can say, hey, go online. You can find a guy online, but how do you go about that? How do you track them? So there's 3 ways. You're either going to use online, you're going to network, or you're going to freestyle. So it's like, if you're just kind of getting into it, then I would suggest a sugar daddy dating site, because you have to get a certain level to be able to communicate your needs. And that allows someone to level up when it comes to communicating. By being, whether they're going to be direct, indirect, or go with an assumed as, but it gets their feet wet. And then when you kind of have like a good group, then you're going to use any site as your playing field. Really, it's as simple as that. So when it goes to attracting someone who is wealthy, we have to start with you. Are you around wealthy people? Do you live around them? Are your friends wealthy? If not, we need to start evolving you, because I can't take a girl and just put her in the country club. I could show her how to get there.
Oh, Lord, no. She needs a little baby step.
Right. So it's like we can work our way up. So you might not immediately grab that multimillionaire, but then it's kind of like, what type of men have you been dating? Have you dated someone who had like 100,000, 250,000, 500? If not, then we need to look at our own surroundings, and then we can start leveling up. So it's more than just trying to find, okay, what places. It's like, hey, there's a sugar daddy dating site. There's tons of them. Online dating, any site for online
And a lot
dating
of
you
girls
can find.
complain about it all the time.
You just have to leverage a site to make it work for you, even when the odds are not in our favor. It's like I wouldn't have a girl sit there all day and invest 24 hours of her time on a sugar daddy dating site. I'm like, okay, we're going to go about it in a couple of different ways. It's like you can't just leave a profile up, right? It's like you have to do more. You have to send out messages. You have to actually do different things to increase your odds. So no, don't, ladies, you're listening, do not just put up a profile and expect that wealthy guy to show up. You got to do a little bit more.
A little bit, just a little bit more.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. But I wanted to touch on the networking part because I'm sure that's going to be a follow-up question. What do you mean when you say networking? Because you mentioned sugar daddy sites freestyling, which most of our listeners are used to. Tell us a little bit more about the networking.
Networking is for the woman who can put herself in different business environments to network professionally. So the average girl who might not have anything like going for herself in terms of like a business or in some capacity, she's not going to use that platform effectively. No. So it's like if you put yourself around like in a business conference, but you have a reason to be there because now your story becomes a part of you, like networking in that capacity.
Yeah, I've heard you talk about this before. I just wanted you to talk about it a little bit more. So, because there are a lot of our listeners that have day jobs. They're not just hosts. They're professional women. So, ladies, you heard that. You can start looking for conferences within your corporation. Ask your boss, what are some conferences going on?
Exactly. Have your boss pay for that.
Yes, a lot of companies will be like, wow, she's actually interested in doing more. Like, that's actually going to be a plus on you that you actually are asking to go to things when most people just want to come in and make a paycheck and go home.
Absolutely. And let's just say for the sake of the girls who don't have anything going professionally to put herself actually in these events, then yeah, you can scope them out. You can do the whole game of playing by the bar and all that. But I would say look for male dominated conferences in Pacific fields. It can be about financing, anything like that. And just put yourself in those environments. And
surgeons have conferences all the time.
Exactly. And then to take it a step further, it's like create a badge and put it on yourself. And then when you are at the bar, so that you don't come across as like, I'm looking to pick a, we don't want it to make it be, we don't want it to be obvious.
Yeah. I mean, there are other ways where you can tell yourself too, but that's another episode.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So another question from one of our followers says, what are your thoughts on freestyling? Do you have any advice related to it?
Okay. Anytime you step outside the door, you're freestyling. Okay.
That's what I say.
And if you're like going to where you traditionally shop at, shop in other places where your target market is going to be at, so that you can start shaping your whole life, because it's not.
Don't go to the flea market every day.
It's like it's like I don't just dabble in this. It's like I go all the way. So it's not just like, okay, I'm just gonna just show up for like 10 minutes. I'm like, nope, this is my lifestyle.
All day. That's how you stay in shape and be healthy. Yeah. They tell you that too. Like, you can't just work out for like a week, eat right for a week and think that's gonna fly. No. The only way you're gonna maintain a healthy body weight is by changing your lifestyle. So the same way with sugaring, yes?
Oh, absolutely.
You gotta go to the bank where the rich people are. Go grocery shopping where the rich people are. The dry cleaners. What else, Taylor? all the places you normally go, do it in the rich neighborhood.
That too. And then also look at your day job as well. It's like, are you in those places that you can connect with other people too? And then if not, change it. So even if you might not, let's just say, have a bachelor's and you're working at the mall, put yourself in high-end clothing stores to come across them.
There you go.
It's like you're trying to create opportunities for yourself.
So
So
everything you do, pretty much, it needs to be centered around meeting people that can help you get to your goal. So,
yes, and don't sleep on other women as well.
oh
Okay,
my God, I
because
said this on the page like 2 weeks ago.
don't sleep
I'm
on
so
other
glad you
women
brought that up.
because they might connect you to someone that you need to know. Okay, I leveraged a
Yes.
friendship for a year to get a connect. Okay, I put in
Yes.
work.
Yes. But everything is work. I don't
Yes,
know
it
why
is.
people think, the only thing you really don't need to work on is like your family, but even that, you still have to try a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But I think people just think it's just magic and you meet someone and that's it. The friendship just flows and that's it. No, you actually have to actively work on the relationship. But yeah, you're right about the women thing because I tweeted this, but I'm going to say it on air. I was at one of my local restaurants here in Miami that I go to, and I'm just chilling. In like the span of 3 hours, I met a lawyer, a female lawyer. She was Black. I don't know why. I'm just saying that because I was so proud. And then I met this other sugar baby, but she's a wife now. She was married to an energy guy. She was also Black. And basically, I made two friends, and they've already been inviting me to things. Because
See, don't sleep.
exactly. The lawyer hangs out with lawyer people. And the sugar baby, she's a housewife. So we do housewife things.
Yeah.
So, ladies, because in this world, we tend to look at women as competition, which I don't know why, but don't do that when you're freestyling. Talk to women too, because I can't tell you how many times all I'll do is maybe compliment someone or whatever, and the door just opens, and next thing you know, I'm being invited to things. You know what I'm saying? So great advice, Taylor.
Okay. Okay. I just want to add this. It came to me to say, you know what? Put it out there. It's like the bartender, the people who work there, make them your BFF.
Yes,
it's like I would tell a girl, the bartender, I was like, okay, I know you know the people who come in here. Look, I'm single and I'm looking for somebody. So help me out. I make sure to tip them good because they are going to have they can be your black card into other places that you can't get into unless you know somebody. So make them your best friends. You can even scope people out. I've done that. I follow people on LinkedIn. Come on.
Yeah, the women for sure, because sometimes the dudes be trying to hit on you and then they want to cock block. So
you got a point.
For sure. Yeah, the women. Some dudes too, like the gay ones. Because I have some gay bestie bartenders that let me know what's up. So yeah, that's a great idea too, which I mentioned as well on the show. I love it. We're like great minds. Okay.
I know, we're in sync.
Yay. Okay. Next question from another one of our followers. What's a good way to approach men that clearly want your attention while you're out, but might be nervous or afraid to make the first move? And what's the most graceful way to let them know that they can actually have a fun time? But she's thinking more short term. But what's the most graceful way to let them know you're available to hang out?
just be really, it's just being inviting, making it okay. Give him like a doggy treat. Like, hey, it's okay. You can go over there and talk to them. And all you have to do, you know what? All you need to do is say hello. There you go. Because now you're throwing him a bone to proceed. Like, you know what? It's okay to talk to you. She's not going to shut me down. She's not going to reject me. So just sometimes the easiest thing is just to say hello.
Exactly. And then, I've actually smiled and waved at people when they were just because they're so far away and I'm not walking to them. So
have you ever licked your lips at them?
Of course. You do all the sensual things, but depending on the crowd. But I've literally just smiled and waved and then they came over because I'm like, I am not walking to you. And you keep staring me down. So you might as well come over here, But yeah, so great tip. Okay, another follower asked, what are some of your favorite methods of collecting benefits from men? Or is it just cash? And do you prefer sugaring with an alter ego similar to a stage name or as yourself?
Okay. Well, cash is and will always be queen. But but based on the type of relationship that you have with them and the level of trust, it's like I accepted checks. I accepted direct deposits, but there was like a trust factor right there.
Yeah, of course.
So trust, definitely.
Who still even writes checks that they might I've gotten checks before, but they're usually old. But
yes,
then
and we
I
like
taught
that
them
old
how
money.
to,
We like that old money.
right. But I taught them how to do Zelle,
But
and then
look, hold on, I think you mentioned like about the alter ego.
yeah, that was what I was gonna say.
It's like I believe we all have different personality types, and that one that needs to show up shows up. So yeah, I tap into whoever needs to come out at that moment.
Yeah, I think she means, do you use a stage name or do you use your real name when you?
Oh, do I
Yeah.
use? Okay, depending on how I'm connecting with someone. So
Girl,
let's just say
you and me.
let's say online, right? I'm going to use a nickname, but I'm always going to associate a story with the nickname so it sounds plausible. So they don't see me as like, okay, who are you really? What is
She's
your
sketchy.
intentions?
Yeah.
Right. So I use a nickname for like online, in person. I'll use a name because I want to get it reciprocated so that I can take his name and do some background research,
Yep, get that card, girl. Get that card. That's the best way to screen.
Yes.
Okay, so and lastly, one of our followers asked, why do you prefer sugaring over escorting? Have you ever considered a transition?
I haven't considered a transition into it. And there's a reason for it. It's like I love having an emotional connection. I don't want to just be like, okay, time you and bill you for this. I enjoy having an emotional connection. I really like relationships. So
gotcha. So
yeah.
No, I mean, I figured, but I wanted to ask the question because
that's okay.
Our listeners are here, so just wanted to see what the difference was, because a lot of escorts think sugaring is trash and all the men are trash. So hopefully you have shone some light and they might give it a second thought. All right, so I'm gonna get a little nosy.
All right, I'm an open book. Ask me anything.
What's the most money you've ever made from a boyfriend or sugar daddy?
It would be in my platonic sugar daddy. He provided
the one that was on Lisa, right?
My co-star. It's like he provided over 100,000, and that was like within a year. Okay, and I'm in his will.
Yeah.
And
so is he still alive?
He's still alive. Yes,
okay,
he is.
Yes, all right.
He is. I got a room in his house.
Yes. Well, if he needs a second, if he needs a second sugar baby, I can just come there. I can come to Atlanta. I'm good. We can figure it out.
But with him, that was the cherry on top, because not only did he provide in that, I was smart enough and savvy enough to find times that money.
Of course. You invested it.
Yes.
Okay. Obviously, you had mentors. You did not figure this out on your own.
Correct. Yes. It's like, you know what? It's like whether it was free or paid, I will throw money at a problem. If I can't figure it out, I'm going to throw money at it and find someone who's been there, because I know by the time it takes me to learn it, I could have thrown money at it and then made probably 10 times that. So
you know what's funny? That's exactly how rich people think.
Yeah, I'll throw money at it in a second.
Yep. Why do it when you can pay somebody else to do it, right? So were your mentors male, female, mix?
Oh, I had them all. I had women, men, I had a couple, So I had them all, whether it's professional or
you're polyamorous and stuff.
So okay. Yes, I have a variety.
Okay. This is going to be another one of those questions that you're going to want to go deeper, but I'm asking it anyway because this is something that always comes up. Please tell the ladies the steps to follow in order to ask for financial gifts from their sugar daddy.
Okay. It's like, you just can't just ask. However, it is an approach. That's a direct approach. It's just a matter, are you getting something from it? But what I do is I have to align my goals and objectives. I have to know what it is that I want. And it can't just be, I just want money, because then I have to take it another step. What will that money pay for? Because now that becomes the heart of the issue. It's like, if I want to live this $100,000 life, then I have to create that life. So understanding your needs and wants so that you can align it to this lifestyle. And then you have to identify that ideal guy who's in a position to provide it. Because you can't just ask someone. It depends on who you're asking. Because if that guy doesn't want to take you shopping, you're looking for him to take you shopping, you're asking the wrong one. You don't know your target. You know, it's like
know
you don't
your
have
audience.
Right. You don't have to spend weeks going out with a guy to only find out he don't want to provide you an allowance of money. So when you identify your right target, then you are in a better position to pave the way for them to provide. Okay. Because you have to pull those emotional triggers to understand that. And then I break it down into like 3 types of ask. It's the direct approach ask, it's the indirect ask, or the assume. Like you already know that this is going to happen. So
I've done that a few times.
Right. You know,
I've done all 3 a few times, but the assume part.
Yes.
Sidebar. Where did you meet your platonic guy?
I met him on a sugar daddy dating site. And
really?
Yes, this is the same man that pays a woman to come over weekly to give him a massage and a happy ending. Yes, this is the same guy.
Oh, so he hires one of us, but you get in the way. Okay.
Absolutely.
Right.
I mean, she's been around for years. I know her. She's been around for years.
So he's a long-term kind of guy.
Yes.
He's a loyal guy. All right, cool. What is the worst advice you've ever gotten?
Oh, the worst advice was just to put up a profile on a dating site without having, it's like put up a profile and outline what I'm looking for. That to me was the worst advice. In hindsight, I was like, okay, I get it. But to really attract someone and the way that I go about it, it's like I craft profiles by stepping into the mindset of having the conversation that's already happening in my target's head. So I went about it differently from how I approached it because I was always falling short. Was like, okay, I'm just going to tell this guy what I want and be direct about it. And I was I was just falling up short.
Yeah.
So yeah, if I would have stuck with that advice, I would not be here right now.
Exactly. You can't always use a direct approach with things, especially when you don't know the person. You know what I'm saying? Like I can direct approach some people, but that's because I know them. But strangers, you got to use other tactics.
Yeah.
But what is the best advice you've ever gotten?
Oh, the best advice I've ever gotten? Let's see. Actually, you did say it at the beginning. A closed mouth doesn't get fed.
Oh. Yeah. From your beginning story.
Yeah.
So
closed mouth.
Ask for what you want.
Yes.
I love it. Okay. If you could go back in time and talk to your 17-year-old self, what would you say to her?
I would say your relationships play a major role in your life. Choose wisely.
Ooh, I love the way that sounds.
Definitely.
I'm going to have to quote you on that one.
Yes.
We're quoting Taylor. Okay. Now we're going to get into the fun part and then we'll send you on your way. I know you got things to do. Who is one person you admire and you would love to have at your home as a dinner guest?
Oh, I had this happen. And that was
already?
Yeah.
Done?
And that was and that was Ledra Lawson from Sugar Daddy 101.
Oh, so you actually full circle and now you guys are cool. That's so
right.
Awesome. I love it.
I
love it.
Yes.
I love it. Favorite vacation destination?
It's like I like traveling and going to places, but I don't always like to always keep going back to the same place. So really, my favorite place to be is going back home to visit mom.
Okay.
That's like my whole relaxation.
All right, fine. Where is the best place you've ever visited to date? How about that?
Oh, okay. To date. Okay. I did fall in love with St. Lucia. I did. It's like I enjoyed the people there.
I love St. Lucia.
When I stepped out, I just had a good time.
Yeah? Awesome.
I did. Yes.
Great zip lining too. Okay. What do you do in your free time if you have any?
Okay. It's like literally I eat, breathe, and sleep sugar because I'm always thinking about stuff that I could do for my clients or approaches. But I have to kind of
free time, girl.
Yeah, I know. But my free time to detach, what I really enjoy doing is working out. I just love it. I do. It takes my mind away, and it's like it's my time. So
I don't
yes.
really know anyone that actually loves working out. I know they love how they feel afterwards, but
Yeah.
does anyone really love working out?
It's like one of those things that it's a mental thing, and I really like getting in a certain mindset and just pushing myself. So it kind of triggers me for other areas of my life, but I really enjoy it. But hey, sometimes my alone time can be just sitting outside, people watching. I like that. Going to the park, people watching. But yeah.
Okay. Do you have pets, dogs, cats?
You know what? I have I'm checking the box, which I have a bird, which is a cockatiel. Yes.
Do those talk? I don't know. I know parrots talk.
This one, I didn't teach him how to talk because I thought that when I was younger, that if I showed him how to talk, that he would tell my business. So what he just does is like, right. So he just whistles, bark like a dog, and wave and do all those little things. Yeah.
Okay. Look at that. That sounds like fun. Favorite book?
Oh, okay. Favorite book, Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Oh.
Yeah.
That I read that book. That's a great book. I need to go reread it. What are you reading right now?
Okay, let's see. Man, I have so many books that I jump from, but one of the main books that is by my nightstand is The Choose Yourself Guide to Wealth, and that's by James Altucher.
Who's that by?
James Altucher.
Add another book to my list.
Yeah, The Choose Yourself Guide to Wealth.
Choose Yourself Guide to Wealth. You're like me, always reading wealth creation books and business books. All right, done. Got it. Favorite movie of all time?
Oh my goodness. Favorite movie. Okay, this is so hard.
Is it? Because you have time. The questions were sent to you.
I know. It's like okay, I'm trying to think
top three.
Okay. Let's see. I like Mommy Dearest. I like
wire hangers.
Okay, Shawshank Redemption. That's one of my movies. Okay, and I like Love Jones, Brown Sugar. It's so hard.
So you picked 2 dramas and 1 romance. Nice. Okay. Favorite TV show, or do you watch TV? I mean, I don't watch TV. I stream everything now, but
okay.
TV show.
It's like I'm not like the go-to TV watcher. Like I just watch TV, but The Office. I can put it. Yes,
funny? I never watched that show.
You never? Have you ever seen an episode entirely?
Nope.
Sit down.
I've seen memes. I've seen things. You know why? I think because they shot it like a reality show, and that was when I was getting over reality shows.
Okay.
And I was just like, fuck this, I'm not watching that. But that's how Carell got his start, so, kudos to The Office. One day, maybe. Pet peeves.
Someone chewing gum loudly. I hate that. I just want to put tape on their mouth.
What a pet peeve. Is that it?
Yeah, that's the main one right there.
Oh, wow. Okay. Just know not to chew gum in front of you.
Yeah, especially if you're in the car riding with me. Oh, my goodness. I will put you out in a second.
Oh, no. Don't you listen to the radio? How can you hear them chewing gum? Oh, geez. No, I listen to podcasts. Anyways, please leave our listeners, both the guys and the girls, because guys do listen to this show too. So we need to teach them how to be more generous. Please leave them with some parting advice.
Okay. Own your want and needs, okay? Because there is someone out there seeking you, so own it. Okay, definitely.
I love
it. For both sides.
That actually applies to both sides. Own what you want and need, because someone is out there looking for exactly that. I love it. Where is the best place that our listeners can find out more about you and contact you to purchase your mentoring services and join your groups? Now is the time to plug all your stuff.
No, okay. Well, my home is my site, which is thesugardaddyformula.com. That is my home. That is the place to find me for anything sugar daddy dating related, or just taking it to the next level from where you are. But it's like, for your listeners, all right, if
Hey,
you're
wait, you're
wanting
not
to,
discriminating against our listeners, are
no,
you?
you know
Oh.
what? I'm about to offer your listeners
Ooh,
because they're
yes,
special.
yes.
Okay. It's like I want to give you a copy of my book. You don't ever have to pay for it. You can have a copy
Ooh,
of
she
my
is
book.
generous.
All right. I
Yes.
am generous. So to get that copy, you will have to text me though to get it. All
Okay.
right. So to text to get the copy of the book, you're going to text get money, and those are going to be one word together, get money to the number 33444.
So
Okay.
type GETMONEY to the number 33444.
33444. Absolutely. And then if you want to find ways that you're leaving money on the table, reach out to me and I'll show you where you're leaving money out and you can go on a speed date and I'll help you find
Ew.
it.
I
So,
love it. I love it.
yes.
That's awesome. Well, I'm definitely gonna be contacting you to, do some strategy stuff for me. So I'll be bugging you, Taylor. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I know you're a busy woman, but you
Thanks
finally
for
graced
having
us with your
me.
presence.
You
Thank you,
hunted
thank
me
you, thank you.
down.
Yes, I did. I sure did. I was persistent. I was like, she's coming on the show whether she likes it or not. But here you are.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Please enjoy the rest of your day. And hopefully you can come back on and we can talk about something else.
That sounds good.
All right. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye. A big thank you to Taylor for coming on the show and sharing her knowledge with us. I hope you guys found value in her interview. So now it's time to take action and put her advice to work. See you next year in 2020 with bigger goals and bigger dreams. Bye.
Be sure to follow the show on Twitter at T.S.E.G Podcast and on Instagram at T.S.E.G.P. Join our Patreon page for exclusive videos on dating, sugaring, and freestyling tips for both the gentlemen and ladies. Patreon.com/TSEGP. Follow your host Vivian on Twitter and Instagram at Exotic Vivian. Please leave the show a 5-star rating on iTunes. Until next time, keep it sexy and stay receptive.